And welcome to a wild Thursday night here at the Empower Man Podcast. Wild because it is actually not Thursday, it's Wednesday. That's how wild it is because Greg and I have been up for about 20 hours. Different states, same coast. But we are glad to be with you all tonight. It's your boy Mikey G coming to you live from the free state of Florida. And tonight I am joined by the man they call magnanimous. He's gregarious. He's vivacious. But he's just drop dead sexy. He's my friend.
I'll go with that.
He's your friend. He's the parent. He's the patriot. He is the champion of the Second Amendment. He has no filter. But when he does, look out. He is clean as a whistle. Greg A. Todora, number one. Sir, I hope you got all that on camera because the recording on my end and your end might be a little bit different. So for all those that hopefully we get this full, I wait, I pause. So when you see that pause in the beginning, I'm waiting for the software. By the way, we are powered by StreamYard. Cheap plug. So hopefully you all got that introduction. If you want the full introduction, you can look me up on Cameo. And for $50, I'll give you a custom intro.
Wow.
Like that one?
And well worth every penny.
Yes.
Because you do good ones. Thank you for that, sir.
Well, I'm waiting for a friend of mine to buy OnlyFans.
You'll be waiting a long time. Never happened.
But you call it really only marketing or only content. Maybe
Actually,
OnlyFans.
Actually.
Greg, you got something for me? Tell us.
First, I want to give a shout out before we get started to all the military personnel here and overseas. The Gold Star families, we thank you for your sacrifice and your service. Be careful out there. We love each and every one of you. We thank you for what you do because it wouldn't be possible to be here without you guys and gals. Stay safe.
And I'm going to second that, sir, with a shout out to our policemen and women, our firemen and women, our EMTs, our first responders. Thank you always for keeping our cities, states, and local municipalities safe and sound.
Yep, I could dig it. So, what was I going to say? What did you bring up just then?
Protein shakes.
Before that.
I'm kidding.
What was I going to say?
You're asking the guy with 7 concussions what he just said 5 minutes ago?
Well, what does that say? Because I don't think I've had any, and I still don't remember. But anyway, I can't remember.
Greg, it's all right. It's Wednesday night.
Yes.
And back in the day, Wednesday night was ladies' night. So if ladies are listening, this is your night. Dancing free until the morning light. Together forever because this is your night.
Technically, in Florida, I think it's Thursday nights. At least it used to be. Wednesday night's industry night in Vegas.
Actually, Tuesdays back in our day, there was, remember that place, Eugene's in the city? It was Eugene's, and then there was another place. I forgot, but it was something ridiculous. This is going back after 2001, 02, and it's crazy because after 9/11, it was just, I remember that, and not to, be all over the place, but that smell and that much destruction. I was like, damn, that smell was so, like, I can sense that. Like, if you say 9/11, the smell of steel, burning bodies, waste, it's crazy that I've never smelled anything like that. And the destruction that was in Lower Manhattan, you knew the city was going to bounce back, but when? Because New Yorkers are resilient. You know what I mean? But there was just so much strife and so much craziness. And now, we left Manhattan. I left Manhattan before you did. I left in 2013. But as I was towards the end of that decade, Manhattan was pretty much back, And even after that, people were just trying to not let that keep them down. You know what I mean? So that's why the clubs were popping and not that we were celebrating, but we were just saying no, you're not going to disrupt our way of life.
We weren't celebrating, but we were celebrating life and being alive and not letting that defeat our everyday.
and just the love, like like we for a small time there we were united, like, and it was awesome
Yeah. Everywhere.
because everywhere, especially in New York, because I mean everybody was
Yeah.
just cool, and then now to see where we're at and how I mean to be even more, I think we're
I don't
more
think we could
divisive now
bounce
than ever.
back like we did now. We're too divided now.
Nah, there's
Yeah.
so much infiltration of outside forces and so much. You know what I've really seen though? The amount of evil. Like maybe I've been blasé to it.
I
Maybe
think
it's
it's
because
always
I'm in
been there.
this
I just
life.
think it's you're maybe you, I know I am. We're more aware of it now and we're more
The evil.
tuned into it now because we really are cutting everything like that out of our lives that I think it's
Oh
it's highlighted more when it's there, but I think it's always been there. We just know more now. We could see
yeah,
it a lot easier now.
and and I think now more than ever, it's all the choices we make really encompass the direction of things. I mean, when we were younger, we took a lot of risks. I think a lot of young people. I don't know if a lot of young people still do that now,
Some
but
do.
but then like again, like I didn't really care much back in my 20s. I mean, I didn't.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to be sitting here right now, I'm very grateful and very fortunate to be right now present.
Agreed.
Um, but I don't know. There's
Hmm.
just so much evil in this world, and I think you mentioned it on our last podcast about the almost like the demasculization about how men are becoming not men anymore.
It's still around. So it was
Yeah,
heavy, obviously, 5, 6 years ago. And then they really doubled down on it. And it's now, I think, full cycle. It's run its course. And now we're seeing it every day. It's a joke. It's a
yeah,
joke. Most
yeah,
guys, no
yeah.
offense, most guys could not take care of their own, let alone take care of themselves if something were to go down. How are you going to protect your family, your friends, anybody, a stranger? Most of them can't. Most of them
Right,
can't. And I think that's sad and shame on them.
right. Because they
But
choose not to.
100%.
They choose not to, and I think
Uh-huh.
being aware more of our choices now more than ever. I mean, back in the day, I mean, not that we want to live in the past, but I mean, I would see fists flying over my. I would see a fist coming this way. Yeah, I mean, it took one shove, and I got to give a shout out to my boy who's on AEW, my friend Prince Nana. So for those that don't know, AEW is for All Elite Wrestling on TBS, TNT Wednesday nights.
Hmm.
TBS, I think it's Friday or Saturday. And Prince Nana, if you're listening, hello. He once told me when I first started, he goes, if you jump on one, you jump on all. And a lot of guys I know took that to heart. And if I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
video camera of my early 20s, oh my God, Jesus.
Yep.
But anyhow,
Anyway, what I remembered what I was going to say. Thank you very
yes,
much.
come on back.
Pat, because you had brought up OnlyFans. So, what's starting to creep in, which I absolutely think it's hysterical, and I hope it keeps going, is the whole AI now is mixing in with OnlyFans. So, AI is incredible. I think there's pros and cons to it, obviously, but it could be very dangerous. So, there's clips out there, stories out there. So, there's like a dude, young guy, behind the camera,
Mm,
but AI has created him as like a or a hot chick. So these guys now are subscribing to him as her, raking in the money. I think that's hysterical. Once again, shame on the loser guys for giving it a market. Clearly, there's a huge market for it. I've talked about this. You know how I feel about it. I think it's a joke. But I do think that's funny that these girls, because I mentioned it last week with the robots, that's one avenue, the AI and the robots. Now you have AI with OnlyFans. You guys are going to start getting, you might have a large pie of the income stream, but it's coming where they're going to start taking piece by piece. You might have 90% of the market as a female. for OnlyFans. They're only going to keep perfecting AI. It's scary. And the more digital creations.
Oh,
First of all, this is a live guy doing it. Imagine now when these nerds create full AI people that people think they're actually real people. This person's a real person. I'll give them that. So you have that revenue stream now going away from the real girls. Now add on the real smart guys that are going to create all these accounts with fake bots that look real, talk real, act real. They're going to now get that money. So you might have 95% of the market. You might get cut down to 75, 70, 65%. That's a huge number. And these guys are going to start crushing them. And I think that's funny because what's their answer? You can only up the ante so much. That's all it is. So
yeah. It's interesting and
I
it's
think it's
scary.
great. It's funny. Go for
Well,
it.
I discovered Chat GPT about a month ago.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man. That I was like,
Mm-hmm.
holy smokes.
Yeah, of course.
And it's funny. I have been meeting more older women lately. Not just meeting. There's nothing, just
Attaboy.
meeting. Well, I've always dated
I'm
older
just
women.
kidding.
No, but and it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I should, and it's just about conversation. And I met this one widowed woman. It's beautiful, about 9 years older than me. And it's just talking. There was nothing preferred. It was just like a conversation, you know. And I said, yeah, I'm really sorry for your loss. I mean, because she's the way she talked about her ex-husband was so like passionate. This girl
Yeah.
lost her husband, her mother, and her daughter within like a 2-year sequence. So she literally is alone.
And her daughter?
Her daughter, yeah.
Damn.
Because I always bring up
Phew.
faith with someone. I
Mhm.
have four
Wow.
things that I'm looking for. If
Man.
if God is the common denominator, if God is not in your life, it probably is not going to work, and it probably only goes so far. Right? I know that's my hard line because I know the type of relationship I'm looking for, and I'm not going to stop till I get it. But I like meeting people. I genuinely do. I've been a people person my whole life, and now before I would look for that lustful eye. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to be attracted to somebody, but now
Of
it's more
course.
like getting to know someone, not like
Mhm.
I had this conversation with somebody today about like as a younger man, most men kind of go in for the kill. Like they see someone, right? I don't know if that's the right term. I hope I didn't offend anybody, but like at least at least I did. I don't know about anybody else, but like when I met somebody, it's like okay, like where are we going? Whose apartment are we going to? Yours or
Mhm.
mine? You know. But that was also the environment we're in now. But we're older. But she was asking me questions like, why do most younger men like older women? And I think there's a trend, at least with us, we've always liked older women.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I relate better with older women. I am an old soul. We joke about, oh man, we were born 10 years too late. Right. And
10 to
I
20.
believe
10 to
I
in
I agree
between
with
10 and
that.
20. Yeah.
I agree with that. I
Me
think
too.
with an older woman, I can have better conversations with them.
Mhm.
We have the same pretty much interests because I grew up, we're 80s child. So like I used to watch all those shows, politics, sports, um, and I think just the overall, I feel like, and here's a heat catcher. Um,
Mhm.
most younger women, I think, are still infatuated with the material stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think older
Mhm.
women have been tried and tested, whether they've been divorced, whether they've had, they've had some bad luck dating, whether they've gone through some bad relationships. I think life experience plays a role. It plays a huge role in the in what you're going to attract. I really do. I think our life experiences are different than the next guy. Maybe that's why they'll
Thank
attract
God.
younger, right?
Thank God.
I mean, Greg, what are your thoughts on that?
I think there's always two types of women. Older, we're talking about older. There are still older ones that just want money. Obviously,
Oh,
like think of like, the Titanic, the mom tying her thing like all we have is our name. There's no money. You have to marry for money. That's always been around. There's still people like that. yes, there's a ton of young girls like that. I think there's more younger people like that because of the environment, these stupid shows, and who they idolize, and who is marketed out there, as well as social media. But I think there's older women like that, but there's some older women that obviously aren't like that. We've met a bunch, and but there's
Right.
also people around our age and younger that are still true to wanting a real meaningful relationship.
Relationship.
They're still
100%.
out there, but I think it's far, very, very far and few between now.
And you can see the intertwining of social media because all these girls seek validation. Like I get it, you have to
Of
do social
course,
media for your job, but like when you post every day, I'm at lunch. Oh, love these girls. Oh, like it's a beautiful sunset here in Delray Beach, or like whatever. It's the same monotonous,
same thing.
same
My
same
thing is
thing.
like I know I'm getting older, but like people still do these things. People are still into these things. People still say these things. Who's listening to a washed up girl that's been passed around? Let's just call Westchester. And but now all of a sudden she's an inspirational coach. What are you talking about? It's just like I don't get that. I just don't get that. But whatever.
You- Some people change. I mean, I could just say
You're
that.
very
I don't know.
kind. You're very kind.
Got to play the
Some people
devil's
do
advocate.
change. Most people don't. And I'm talking about that group as most people don't.
Of course.
Yeah, some people change, of course, but I don't know. I think a lot of things are just for the show nowadays. You can
Oh, it's
see
all
right
optics.
through it. You can
It's
see
all
right
optics.
through it. Of course it is.
It's all optics.
And speaking of the religion optics, it's got to be hard to decipher who's really into it and who's just putting on a show. Because like anything else, you have people jumping on the bandwagon, the trends, and they want to make a quick buck using it. Because you always say God's a big business, which it is. It's
It
huge.
is. It's big
So
business.
you have people now that are jumping on that wagon, like, oh look, I'm all of a sudden like overnight you're religious. I'm not buying it, but then again, who am I?
No, I think you have the right mindset. I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine last night when we were driving down to Pompano Beach. We were wrestling last night, and what I don't like about these Christian, we'll call them influencers, right? There's a lot of
Hmm.
them out there. You never see behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've overcome addiction. Great. When the camera's off, how do you deal with those demons? I know the demons, uh, the enemy attacks me every day with something, whether it's an angry thought, whether it's frustration, whether it's this, and I win sometimes, I lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's you know what I mean? So what I love about our podcast, not because it's you and I and not putting us over, but we're authentic in what we talk about because I don't know it all. You don't know it all. We're not the be all end all, but
Mm-mm.
it's the struggles that we deal with every day, and we're just
Mm-hmm.
throwing out ideas on how to deal with them. Maybe
And we're
someone
not
has an
fake.
idea. No,
I'll say the same thing to anybody in their face. There's no change. You see me out, I'm the same way. I know you are too. But a lot of these people are just fake, man. And it's like, I don't waste my time on it. But when it comes up, when I'm looking at things or in my feed, it's just like, like you said, you talk about the same things all the time. And the people that have to keep continually talking about it usually are full of shit. And they're trying to self validate or just feed off people that are like, oh my God, look at them. They're so godly or worldly. Just stop.
right?
Just go away. Just do your thing. How about this? Do your thing in silence. Just saying. I respect that a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, and that's the way I prefer to do things. I don't really
Hmm.
put my what I put on social media is for
Hmm.
optics, especially now that I'm back in the wrestling circuit. It's something that is a part of the
Hmm.
logarithms and the clicks and the shares and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as me going out there and posting things about religion, that's just not me because that's something
Yeah.
that's personal to me.
Hmm.
So what I do, if someone were to ask me what I do, I'll gladly tell them, but I don't put it out there for public consumption.
Yeah. It's unfortunate though, because a lot of different religions, Christianity, when you're like, oh, I'm a Christian, people immediately go
Yeah.
cult, crazy, full of shit, shine, or like just faking it, or like wannabe. Everyone always goes to the extreme. Kind of like when you're like, oh, Muslim. Then they
Right.
go, oh, terrorist, this and that. There's some good people.
Exactly.
We know a lot of good Muslim dudes and girls. I know a
Look at
bunch, but I don't go that way. When someone says, oh, I'm a Christian, okay. I take things like surface value. I don't really
same.
go into it, but most people go to the extreme. They're justified in a way because what's usually shown are the extremes.
Exactly.
Like the cults, like, Waco, Texas, and, the Branch Davidian and all that. They're like, they associate now like Christians and all these other people like the extremists, and it's not the case. But there are a lot of extremists in that, and it just taints the waters. It gives the real people, I think, like yourself, that's trying and reading and doing all you got to do, a bad name. Like, oh, Mike's a Christian. Like, oh boy, what rabbit hole is
Right.
he going down? Like,
Right. Exactly.
just because you said the word Christian.
Well, they
So,
expect us to be perfect. They're like, "Oh my God, you have anger issues." I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, you deal with anxiety and stress.
yeah.
Yeah. You deal with depression. Yeah. You deal with fear, self doubt.
Hmm.
Yeah. I do. And the thing is I think when you mention the word Christian, they expect you to be this like holier than thou, like, you know, walk on water. You're so perfect. And I think that's the image that I know I get frustrated because I'm like, damn, how is this guy so happy? Here's an example, right? Remember the adult film star that we brought up
Yeah.
and he liked our stuff. And I would love to get him on the show because I'd love to ask him a bunch of
Yeah, we're
questions,
trying to schedule that.
trying to get him on. And I
Hmm.
look at his life and I'm like, damn, how is he so happy? It's like I look at people that find God. How are they so happy? Because I'm a happy person, but it's like Daryl Strawberry, like how he changed his life around. And all he does is like smile. He's got this wife. And I'm like, how is this? Like, what am I missing? Because then I get frustrated. Now, if I get like that, how many other men out there watch these people out there that are always smiling and preaching about Jesus and they want to be happy like them? Like there's but you want to know the secret, you want to know the trick. What do you do to allow that happiness in your life? It's just like for you, it's like swimming. Like, how did you become a great swimmer? You practiced, you got
Hmm.
in the pool, you put the
Hmm.
work in. I put the work in, but sometimes I'm still not happy. How are these people always happy? So that's the thing with the optics. Go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. You're right. I mean, but I have a different thing. So you think people expect you to be perfect because you're a
Yes.
Christian? I think people immediately go to they're crazy before that.
Well, you knew I was crazy.
Oh, they're crazy, or well, the religion aspect of it. I think when people like they're Christian, they're like, oh boy, here we go. I think they go that way, not oh, I think they expect to be perfect and they don't have any flaws. I think people go the other way first with the oh they're crazy or they're just fronting or whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of people I respect, and I don't go around. I'm not a big religion person, you know that.
I do.
I'd like to figure it out, but I just don't see myself getting there yet. But I know a lot of people, and I respect a lot of people that are different religions. But since we're talking about Christianity, there's a few dudes I know that I respect that are very into that, and they got into that later in life. Cool. And they're like all in, and like things are doing well for them. So just to your point, you were just saying, I'm like, Jesus, what is it that I think they're just all in? They don't care about the outside noise of however people perceive them, either your way or my way. And they're just like focused, committed on it. But what I get hung up on is like, oh, you gave your life to God. Because they always say, like, oh, you have to not bow
Surrender.
down to him. What's the phrase? There's a
Surrender.
phrase in Christianity. You have to like, yeah, you have to surrender yourself to him. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wrap my brain around that. But I think people that either do that or think they do that, they're fine. And they're okay with the noise and they're just focused on their thing. But my thing is, if they were just focused anyway, maybe they'll still be there. I don't know. I don't
No,
know. But whatever
you bring
works, works.
yeah. And you bring up really good points. And I can just say this from me, right? A lot of people are like just letting God take the wheel. Don't try to make decisions.
What does that
Don't try to
mean?
force things. When you have faith and when you
I
believe,
can't pay my bills. I'll let God take the wheel.
exactly. Seriously, I'm telling you this. I'll tell you this. This is a true testimony. When I started giving to the church, now I'm not giving 10% because I'm not there yet, but I give.
Excuse me.
I give a lot. I give a lot for my salary. I give a lot, but I've also noticed that once I started giving, I got a lot of things coming back to me. And I'm telling you, over the summer last year, I hit a little bit of a low point. I didn't give for a while because I just couldn't like part with that ways. But something inside was like, trust this, do this. And I started. My business picked up. I'm telling you, that is the God's honest truth.
Everyone says this.
It's the truth.
Everyone says it.
I thought it was all like, wishy-washy. Oh, the church is trying to make money. No, it is true as I've lived it. Now, full disclosure, I have not fully surrendered to God yet. I fight it.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
It means a lot of things that I still deal with, I allow in a way because it's comfortable. You know
What do you
I mean?
mean deal with? Give me an example. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so relationship-wise. Now,
Okay.
obviously, back in the day, we had a lot of fun. I became Christian about 4 years ago. Well, no, but when I moved here, 2021. And it was a little odd at first. So I was like, treading lightly. But then once I got
What was
hooked,
odd at first? Just for the people that aren't.
Yeah. Well, I walked in now growing up Catholic.
What
right?
wait, rewind.
Yeah.
You moved to Florida.
I did. I went nuts.
When did you No, I know that. When did you How did you get to the first step of going into your church or a church or whatever?
So during the pandemic, a guy that I met in wrestling, his name was the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff. And we met back in
Great nickname.
2003.
Yeah,
he's an awesome guy. So we met in 2003 at a wrestling. And if there are a lot of wrestling fans listening, So in 03, we met at a show. And we were talking about things and whatever. And that night we left Staten Island. I'll never forget because the Yankees lost the World Series to the Marlins. So my friend Timmy, God rest his soul, he went one way, I went another way. Now, we had a few libations in us driving back home, which I've done a few times. And I remember I fell asleep at the wheel and I woke up and I was at the Throgs Neck Bridge and waiting there were two cops. And I rolled the window. I never forget this. I rolled the window. He's like, hey, he goes, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going home. He goes, where's home? I said, Pelham Parkway South. He goes, where's Pelham Parkway South? I said, the Bronx. He goes, all right, go back up this way and make a left. So I get home. And Gary and my two roommates at the time, our friend Gary, my buddy Oliver, were getting ready to go to work because they were still in the police force.
Yep.
And I told them what happened. And I said, well, why didn't I get anything? He's like, well, he goes, no cop wants to do paperwork at 5:00 in the morning.
Correct.
So that was the first. I always said that he put the Russian whammy on me. But fast forward 20 years. During the pandemic, I DM'd him because I said, damn, dude, like you always seem happy. How do you find happiness? And he kept planting seeds and planting seeds and planting seeds. And he has this man camp where just basically a bunch of dudes get together for a weekend. There's no cell phones and people just sit around. They study the Bible. And I definitely want to do that. I think that'd be awesome. And I'm definitely in. So Nikita, if we're happen to be listening, I'm definitely going to one of those things. It's just, I don't know when. I know it's a crappy excuse, but it's the truth. And then when I moved to Florida, I was having dinner with a doctor that I was going to do some business with. We talked about sports policy. He was a doctor for the NBA. So we're talking about things. And then somehow God came in to his weirdest thing. I was trying to find a church. I was trying to get plugged in because it's something I wanted to do. So he started
personally or for business?
Personally.
Got it.
Personally. I knew I needed it. I needed it back. I would say when I went back to college in my early 30s and I went back to St. John's, that's when I knew I needed it, but I kept ignoring it. Like I went to church, I showed up, I wasn't present, but I needed it. It was like the Bible talks about planting seeds. It doesn't matter who plants a seed or or who waters a seed or who plants a seed, as long as God makes a seed grow. I'm paraphrasing. But what I'm saying is the seeds were planted. It didn't really come to fruition until I met this doctor. He invited me to church with him. And Dr. John Maxwell was speaking, who's a world-renowned, he's a business coach. He goes and teaches leadership classes. I walked in, they served coffee. Okay, now you got my attention because I love caffeine. This is awesome, right? I walk in, it's like an auditorium. I was like, this is really strange. Like, I don't know. Everybody was so happy. Like, oh my God. The music starts playing. And no, they have a great band. They have the words on the screen. And of course, I can sing like Elvis and we could do karaoke, but to sing like worship songs, my voice is a lot different. But I was into it. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like the message. And then right then and there, at the end of the service, they asked who wants to give their life to Jesus. I was like, I walked up there, did it. I felt great about it. I felt okay. Like, what do I do?
What
next?
did you have to do?
Said the sinner's prayer. Just said a sinner's prayer.
I don't know what that is. That's why I'm asking.
So every pastor has their own interpretation of it. So it's just like, hey, Lord Jesus, come into my life, forgive me of my sins, make me a new person, and on this day forward, I'll live to my fullest to serve you in Jesus' name. Something along those lines. But when I first moved to Florida, I went nuts for as a 40-something-year-old
man. You can't do both?
No.
Why?
No. Because there's certain moralities that come into play that the Bible talks about,
that's not immoral.
Right. But sexual immorality is different to other people. Like being promiscuous is something that, you can make that choice. And I'm not trying to defend it. I know from what my interpretation of it is that promiscuity is not really the best thing for you to do, And I think, the Bible teaches you about coveting your body and really your body's a temple and to like just give it away and like sleep with just anyone. It's not really something that God really wants you to do. Now, as guys, some guys can take that as, oh man, the more chicks I nail, the more it validates me. And I apologize for that, type of phrase, but
don't apologize. It is what it is.
We're being honest, right? So it's the more women that you sleep with, the more you validate yourself as a man. At least that's the way that I was, because I didn't have someone driving the ship when I was during those years. I looked up to wrestlers, and they are not exactly the most,
true.
More not, as far as promiscuity. So
that wasn't high on their totem pole.
Wasn't high on their totem pole. And now it's like, but it takes a while. Like some guys find God and they're like, oh, I'm saved. For me, it's a process. And I'm slowly now at this point now, 4 years, it's like, okay, I think I've washed away a lot of that stuff. It's like, I want to find someone that when you connect like yourself to another person, it's the two becoming one. Right. And it's more of it's a spiritual thing more than just like getting off, because anyone can get off. Let's be honest. It doesn't really mean anything. We talked about this. When you're younger, you see something that's like appealing. You just want to do a lot of things to it. And even now, like you see attractive girl. Oh yeah, she's hot. She's got a great butt. She's got a great body. She's, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, well, that's great. Let's peel the layers back. What is she really like? You know what I mean? Because it means more. Like, I remember when I was in love and like the way it used to be. I mean, dude, my head was spinning. I was like, holy shit. Pardon my language. But I was like, oh my God, like this is like, I thought I was going to pass out. Because there was so much. And then now, like the last experience I had, I was just like, really? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like you said, do people still really do this? Like you're a middle-aged man, you're still really doing this? And but it wasn't like where it was where you were just going every weekend looking for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was long. Take over because I probably
I get it.
I probably dropped our viewership by another 3,000 according to our Instagram.
No, I'm just trying to walk like what a timeline of what made you go there, and then because I don't understand like give your life to him or whatever wording they use.
And it's a part of my, and I wear this bracelet So I don't really wore bracelets before, but I wore bracelets, some of my favorite things, just as like a something for me to like, hey, during the day, look at Philippians 4:13. I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me. A lot of people use that, right? Then I got another one. Joshua 1:9, for the spirit God gave us, not meant to make us timid, because it's love, power, and self-control. That last one has been a hard one. That can be a hard one. But the difference between Christianity and being Catholic is Christianity is a journey. It's a spiritual walk. Like, you're going to fall down. You don't get condemned for, oh, you had premarital sex. Oh, you did this. You did. All right. Well, listen, like God's rooting for you. He's not going to punish you for, being immoral. Like my family, my mother, like she's VIP to heaven. There is no one holier than my mother. My mother is the greatest woman that ever walked the face of this earth. Thank God she's still with us. And we all love our mothers. I'm just saying, for me, my mom, she is an angel on earth. I know that. And, she gets, oh my God, I didn't go to confession today. Mom, trust me when I tell you, you're fine. So it's that guilt and that dogma that turn people off. And then you see the incidences of altar boys and priests, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I have two pastors at the church I go to.
But shit's got to go down in the Christian world too.
Well, here's the thing, right? So these two pastors, Jimmy Rollins and his wife Irene, they've both dealt with things. Irene's a like recovering alcoholic. Jimmy had a pornography addiction. Those two things I can kind of coalesce with. And it's like to see that they overcame that, but they actually talked about how they overcame that. And look him up, Pastor Jimmy Rollins. He's a big dude, man. He's like 6'4". He's so funny. He's such a funny. I can listen to him speak all day. And what I love about him is I can connect with him. There's certain people, like people that listen to us can relate to us. They connect with us because we can connect with an audience. It's like in wrestling. It's like, how well can you draw them in to get to tell your story? Pastors are the same way. And that's what made me really respect those pastors, because they've been through it. And a lot of pastors have been through it. They've been through real life stuff. And I think we can, at least I do, I draw upon people's life experiences and I take them for myself. And I use that for me. And the more we can draw from people, the better we can make better choices, but more importantly, set a different framework for our path where we're supposed to be in life. What are your thoughts on it?
I think whatever works for you works for you. It's all good for me. I don't know. I haven't, dove into it beyond a certain aspect. I don't know. I think a lot of those are lines to me, like the whatever on your wrist. Not bad lines. I don't mean bad, but I don't know how people can take it to the nth degree or the next step and the next step and the next step. I'm not against it. I just don't know how they do that. And I'm just so pessimistic with people that I just think they're not all of them, but I do not give the benefit of the doubt. I think they're just, doing it just to say they do it or just making noise for themselves. But then again, if it's working for them, who cares? If it is just noise.
Right.
They could be doing worse.
Right.
So
I know for me, like I keep, like we talked about it, I keep it to myself because it's my relationship with God. So it's personal.
yeah.
If I ever got to a platform where I felt comfortable enough or I was asked to do more, I would have to be really comfortable. Well, right now I'm not there yet because I haven't fully surrendered yet. And I never really said that before. I want to, but I don't. And until you do, like, I think I really do believe that floodgates in people's lives will open. That's just me. And again, the Bible to me is a playbook for life. Everything that like you're learning, and like a lot of these like psychologists, lawyers, even taxes. Like there's taxes in the Bible. Like everything is deep rooted in the Bible. So when I read it, it's like, wow, this is awesome. Or like, one of the things I like to meditate on is Colossians 3:8. I will rid myself of anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from my lips. We both know how well that's worked out. Like I said, folks, it's a process.
Pillar of example right here.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Or like Luke 6:36 talks about, I will be compassionate as my Father is compassionate. You know, just trying to like, hey, I need more compassion, I need more empathy in my life. I need to, like, you know, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're exposed to it, your experience will be different than mine. It may, I mean, I've gone to things at church, events at my church, and man, I've I've seen people like just break out crying. I know it sounds kind of crazy because sometimes like there's this emotional release. It's like Easter is this Sunday. How many people really know the meaning of Easter?
Well, I think most people don't know things like that in any religion nowadays. People don't know much about much because
Right?
it's
Like,
not a big deal anymore. It's not taught, and it's all a show. That's my opinion. Everybody does it for show.
and I think you're right to an extent. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I like to think people do take it to heart. You know, but I'm not the type of person that would make money off of God or you know, try to espouse something that I'm not. All I can say is that this is, other than Christmas, it's the most significant time in a Christian's journey or reflection, because this is where Jesus died and rose from the dead. And if you believe that, then you believe you have eternal life. Some people believe living on earth is just an audition for heaven, right? If you look at the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at my life, I'm like, wow, I did a lot of things, right? But
No,
when
but you're
you,
still a good person, though. I think you could do
right,
bad things and you're still a good person.
and I agree. And now add that layer of belief on top of that. Now that you've accepted Jesus into your life, you realize that this guy was, like the Bible said, he was crushed, he was pierced for our rebellion, he was crushed for our sins, he was whipped so we could be healed. You know, he was whipped. I mean, I think Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ, that movie is, I'm sure it's an exaggeration, but if you watch the end of that movie and you see what he went through, like, for someone who, like, it can be really personal. And to think, like, I love you to death, Greg, but I wouldn't give up my son for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you give up your daughter for me? Probably not.
Nobody.
So think about that. And for those that believe, like, this is like he rose from the dead, he forgave our sins.
Here's the
It-
problem,
yeah,
in my opinion, or
sure.
not the problem, a very big problem. Because of the environment now and all the polarizing figures, all of a sudden everybody's into politics. And you have that side, this side, the side over there, back of the room, all these different people, all hating each other, calling each other names and whatever, that are running the country. That's a whole other problem in itself. So you have people, and I'm not bringing him up to cause anything, but you have somebody like Trump bring
Mhm.
up God's name, like keep God in school or pledge allegiance or whatever, which I'm all for. He says it is a problem. And now you have people that just by him saying it, now it becomes a big deal. Now more people want to get rid of it. Now more people look at people like you or people that believe in God or whatever. Now it's further divided and they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to hear you out. And now their agenda is to get God out of things just because so and so said it. This whole world, I was just talking to our boy Justin about this. Everything's gone to hell. Everything. And I think when these characters say these things, they're not wrong, but people make them wrong, and it becomes such now an exaggerated thing that people have to take it all the way and start changing things, removing things, and making it bad if you do believe in it or say it or want it or don't want it. And it's a big mess. And that's where we are now. And I don't not I'm just using for example, like he says something about God, and everyone's like, oh, here we go, and he shouldn't say that. And it's like it wasn't a problem yesterday before he said it, But now that he said it today, now it's going to be a problem for the rest of the year, the rest of the 4 years. Now it becomes a bad thing. I have all these crazy people now striking up agendas to get rid of things and take things out. And it's all waste of time. You're mucking up the system. And it's a problem. And I think all religions now have created more problems. Not religions, the people's views of religions has caused more problems now than need be, but it ain't going away,
No.
and you have people that are very tolerant and lenient, which I don't really agree with that when you just let people in the country. Or look at all the problems in these big European countries that were once a staple of like citizenship and industry and like good people and patriotic people. All these countries, they allowed a certain group in that have infiltrated, and now they're all facing problems. Why do you think we're trying to stop what we're stopping here? We see what's Germany, Belgium, Turkey, London, the UK,
Ugh.
all problems right now because of a group of people that came in, and they're causing a real problem. And in the UK, they don't have freedom of speech. You can say something online, you're going to jail. You say something on Facebook, you're getting locked up. That's crazy. But you have all these countries that are living currently proof of a problem because you let XYZ into the country, which has been going on here for years now. And because they want to stop it and actually enforce a law that's always been there, they're just enforcing it now. All of a sudden, it's a problem because we don't want to become all those other countries. But this ties into religion and God and people being and like turned off. And he said this, and it's more. That's like a heavy polarizing topic, I think, for the country.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
And it's. I think we're back in Stone Ages when it comes to religions and tolerance of other people.
Well, there's no
That's my
tolerance.
opinion.
I agree with you.
There
There's
isn't.
no tolerance.
There isn't. And I'm not one way or the other, but I see it every day, and I can hear people and see how they talk. And like, obviously, once in a while you turn the news on, it's always a problem. It's always a problem. And you have all these protesters that are protesting these countries which are representing religions. Meanwhile, those countries don't want you. Why are you fighting for them? They don't want you. They kill people like you every day. But you're going to hold up a sign and protest in colleges, and everything's a mess. From colleges to sports to everything. And it all comes back to religion, because religion touches upon the gender stuff and the socialist stuff and all those. Here we go with the layers of things now that is just dividing everybody. Abortion, everything. And we're like a big melting pot right now of nothing but problems, because no one can just come together and sit at a table and just have a conversation.
No.
State your points, state your facts, state your points, state your opinion. Okay, you do the same, and you hear him out. He hears you out. You don't interrupt, and you don't yell, curse, or call each other names. Nobody can do that anymore. Nobody. Elon Musk was the greatest thing since sliced bread 4 years ago. A year ago. All these people that I just saw a bumper sticker today with the girls. It was on a Tesla. And it was one of those, I bought this before Elon went crazy. You had to put that on your car. You put it on your car so people don't mess it up, but then sell the car and just shut up. You bought the car because it was awesome. And they all praised him years ago. And they look how quickly people turn. The masses will, back in the day, that's why they just lynched you. They'll do it in a second nowadays. It's different. They don't literally do it in the streets. but they'll cave in your business. They'll poke around at your family and your kids and just, beat you down and make you an outcast.
Crazy.
It's wild. They will turn on you in a second. Look at the whole Democratic Party. They're eating themselves for lunch. They're destroying each other. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I don't care about political parties. I'm just using them as an example. It's a disaster. But at the end of the day, it's our disaster because we're all Americans. That's a problem. And the people that have to make the loudest noise about something usually are the guilty ones.
Of course.
I'm just saying. All these people that don't want, oh, don't look into the money and, oh, you're cutting funding. Like, yeah, he's cutting funding temporarily to see where it needs to go and what's real and what's not. If it's real, you'll get your funding. But if they're finding out it's false, you're done. And all these people that are, doing all these things, they're all guilty. And it'll all eventually come out because it's coming out every day. Somebody new with some sort of scandal, tax evasion, or whatever. And it's a problem. Everything's a mess right now. We're like the laughing stock of the globe. And all he's trying to do is make us stronger. Whether you agree with him or not, like him or not, I don't care if you like him or not. He's trying to put us, everyone's like, oh, these tariffs. He's going to cost us money. You have to spend money to make money, number one. You know that. But the UN, the UN's like, oh, we're going to pull out if America. Here's a newsflash. We are the UN. We are you. We sponsor everything. We supply everything. 80% of things, whether it's hard goods like bullets, guns, bombs, food, aid, whatever, that's us. You're saying you're going to pull out if we don't do something? We are you. How about this? How about we just destroy you? Or how about you just go away?
Right.
France wants the Statue of Liberty back? Go ahead. Go ahead. Like everyone keeps saying, you'd be speaking German if it wasn't for us. You're welcome. I'll take a thank you. It's a mess right now.
It's funny when you see people like Bernie Sanders, and I'm not even saying her name because I will never give her any credence. They think about fighting oligarchy when no one knows what oligarchy is.
Nobody has any clue what that is. And by the way, how many houses does that guy have? I think he has 4. Definitely has 3. He might have 4.
They're fighting oligarchy, Greg, because
of course
they were oligarchs for 4 years. There was a small group of people that ran this country, and Joe Biden was like Weekend at Bernie's with the auto pen. And it's just like what you were saying. It's just people that have ran this country. Could you imagine that if Trump didn't win, where we would be? You talk about depression. You, your daughters, me, we'd be living in my apartment right now with my cat. Although for revenue,
some things would be good, most things would be horrible.
I don't know what would
be good.
But
like I said last week, some people only care about that sum, and that's their right to do that. Whether you agree or disagree, it is what it is.
I agree with you. I just don't know what good would have come out of it.
Maybe some local state things, maybe. I don't know. But to some people, those local state things, that's enough for them. And I respect that. I understand that. I understand it. That's just not what I'm a bigger picture person. And I'm more of a long-term, long hold, generational type of thing. I don't really care about the short right now. But some people care about the short. That's fine. That's okay.
Sure.
That's what makes the world go round. But I just think we're all at odds with each other secretly. People are nice to your face, but then like, oh, they voted this way or they think that or they're what religion? Oh, he believes in he's a Christian. And it's just, I just care if you're a cool person or not. Are you cool with me? Yes or no? Okay, cool. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you date, who you bring home. I don't care. Just keep it real. Just keep it real. It's all good.
I told you this.
It's not around anymore. It's very rare.
I posted something I reposted Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s thing. And all it was different, just giving different forms of cancer treatment. And it just was thought-provoking. And I reposted it. Three people.
Alternative forms.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
I got a lot of likes. I had 3 people that I liked. 2 I went to high school with. One
Mhm.
I knew for 20 years. Blasted me. And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. And I blocked them. And when you take a step back and you look at people, you understand, like, okay, I know it's not me, but you look at them, they're very angry. They've got a lot of stuff going on emotionally. So, of course, that response would be apropos. Like, I wouldn't expect anything like
Yeah.
rational to come out of it. So if you're
Mhm.
expecting, oh, why did he or she do this? Well, like, look at just look at them as a whole and look what they've got going on. And then it's just like, damn, I feel really bad for you that this is what satisfies your emotional appetite. This makes you feel good by taking something that I said and coming after me for it. Now I was shocked.
You didn't even say it. You just shared it.
I just shared it. And you know what, man? And I'm not the type of person that fights back. I'm not. If I see that,
Not anymore.
I block you anytime.
Mhm.
Nope. I will not.
Yeah.
I will not engage. I will not engage in arguments. I just won't. I just will just I detach.
All that I don't know who the person is. All that person has to do is keep it moving. You don't have to do anything. If you don't agree, okay, I don't agree. Whatever. I'm sorry, you agree with everything everybody says every day? I doubt it. Are you going to stop and check all of them? Who has time for that? Just keep it moving. It's all good. But
Eh,
like once again, people still do that? People still into that? I got time for that.
I
It's
see a
more
lot
of
of
the
things
same. It's
online.
more, but that's the majority. That's the
Yeah.
masses out there. Most people do that.
I see a
They
lot of
got
things
nothing better
online.
going on.
Yeah. And I don't agree with them. I just don't engage. Okay, if you want to
Exactly.
say F the president or not my president, I just keep it moving.
It's all good.
It's your right as an American to voice your
Yeah.
First Amendment.
Yeah.
Just keep it
Which,
moving.
by the way, the countries you're protesting for don't even have that amendment. The UK doesn't have it. Come on, man. But, it's all good.
And again, the optics with social media. And I'll wrap up with this.
Hmm.
I've a lot of friends that I used to follow. I don't follow anymore because they are half naked on social media, and a lot of them are into fitness, and I guess they have to show it. And the people I know are not ugly. So instead of looking at that person in a perverse way, I'd rather just not even look at it.
Mm.
And I've deleted several people that are my friends. I just don't follow them. They still follow me, but I don't post anything. Like, the stuff I post is like wrestling related.
Hmm.
Right? That's all I do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if I'm wrestling here or this, but like I don't. That's just me. And I think what you expose your eye to, and remember your ocular motor muscles. You have muscles in your eye, and your eyes get bigger. The more you can take in, right? The more information you can disseminate, and the more your perspectives become formed and shaped. So really keeping an eye for our eye as to what we take in will help us deal with our own stuff. Because if I'm depressed and then I see like a guy with a smoking hot wife and 2 kids or 3 kids, home, money, then I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm really a loser. So I've really cut down on the eye or the lens at which I look at social media to, so that I keeps me like grounded. And
Hmm.
I don't buy into the hype. Greg, what are your final thoughts? And take us home, bud. I'm sorry I
I
spoke too
don't
much.
I don't buy into any of that, and I don't have a lot of I unfriend a lot of people as well, like you. And I think it's a joke that most of these girls have like their link trees up with pay me for this. They all have OnlyFans, but I thought you're a big entrepreneur. Anyway. Um I just think we're at like a point where people just need to slow it down and I think just focus on themselves and just be better people. It sounds so cliche, but like everyone is full of shit now, in my opinion. They really are full of shit. But they're full of shit for the wrong reasons. And they're quick to hate instead of just like you said, you don't have to agree, just be cool and move on. That's all it is. And it's the loudest person in the room is usually wrong and not the smartest. The most naked person is probably not the most secure and probably just overcompensating for something else. And it's the same thing again and again. But I don't think I think we're trying to do better as a country, but I don't think we're getting there because I think it's too quicksandy. The more we move to try to do better, we're sinking. But what's the alternative? You're going to sink anyway. At least you might as well try. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel it's it's not good. But you might as well try. I'd rather go down fighting than just sit there. So at least they're trying to do the right thing or what they think is right.
Well, how do we become better people? Take us out with that. Take us home with that. How would you give a template or a format or some type of advice on, doesn't mean anything crazy. How do we become better people?
I don't know because I don't have faith in people, especially like you do. But I think I don't think people are if they're not trying to be good people, they don't want to be good people. They're too caught up in their own little world, and they're caught up in the world, the optics, the same old thing, keeping up with the Joneses, the whole look of things. I just think if people just gave a shit more about their family and their friends, start there. Just start there. And instead of just trying to put on a show and talk shit about people and stop having your hand out with everybody you talk to. It's like, what can I get from you? What can I get from you? What can I get from you? It's, we know a lot of wealthy people, super wealthy people, and they'll tell you this. At least they used to tell me this. Why they like us and they hang out with us and they choose to spend their time with us, because we don't do this ever. We are our whole group of guys are never like that. We're never like, hey, what can I get from you? We never ask for anything. We don't have our hand out. We're just cool people to them. They respect that. And they seek that out because 90% of the people they interact with on a daily basis is trying to get something from them, money, job, whatever. Something from them instead of just being there for them.
Right.
And I think you can just start by doing that. Stop trying to walk around with your hand out what you can get from somebody. Why don't you just give? Just give, whether it's time, money, advice, space, a helping hand, something. Just give. Give your time and just be present with them instead of, oh, maybe I can, what angle I can get a bill paid or money or a free lunch or a free drink. Like, I don't care about that. I know you don't. And we never have. That's why a lot of people like hanging out with us and respect us because that's just how we are. So maybe just start like that. I don't know. And stop listening and watching all these influencers and people on TV. Nobody cares. No one gives a shit. And those people will hang you out to dry in a second and run you over. They don't care about you. But I don't know. I don't have the answers. Just start being a better person slowly. One thing a day. Just one thing a day. I don't know.
It sounds simple, and hopefully people
It's the
can take
hardest
that to
thing.
heart. One simple act of kindness, whether you
Just
just
stop trying
compliment
to
somebody.
get something all the time. Stop trying to
Yeah.
get. But then that goes to what you were saying with the whole God thing and Christianity stuff. Like, stop going around like that and start giving, and things will open up. You can look at it that way too. It's the same thing in a way.
Tis better than give than to receive. And I've always been a full proponent of that. I'm a
Yeah.
giver. I'm not
Yeah,
good
me
at
too.
accepting things, whether it's compliments, whether
Same.
it's, and I'm working on that. But now that
Mhm.
I've learned to give through the church, things change. So I think you laid the foundation down there for a lot of people to start being a better person. And everyone goes through things. Everybody has peaks and valleys. It's
Of
just
course.
working your way out of it. And remember, like, you're not bad. Your situation doesn't define you. Your childhood, your life experiences, the mistakes you made don't define you.
Yeah. What was done to you doesn't define you.
What done to you wasn't define you.
Nope.
And that's where, and I swear I'm going to stop after this. And this is where Christianity is huge because, again, you're you're believing in Jesus creates a freedom, like bondage. Think about things that hold us back. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, last week, like anxiety, things that hold us back,
Mm-hmm.
things that chain us down. Oh man, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to find a wife. I'm not this. Ah man, because God is for us. He's not against us. Like God made us in his image. Like each one of us are uniquely made. Like, if you read some of the prophets, talk about God knew every hair in our head before we even came into this world. You know, I've said this to you privately, but we'll put it out there now. Like your daughters needed a father and a mother, and that's why they gave him to you. Right? They weren't meant for
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. They were meant for you. Whether that's a belief or not, that's what I believe.
Well, I'll take that. I think this because we've said this privately. I think
Right.
the things that have happened and not happened in my life are for a reason.
100%.
I think to be able to spend more time with them because they need it, because they might not be getting it somewhere else. They need a father, like you said. They need a parent,
They need
a
stability.
present. Yes, they need stability. They need the consistency. So I used to really be hung up on that and stressed out and freaked out and nervous. Now I love that. And I truly believe that, you know what, thank God that didn't happen. Or thank God I didn't get that job because I wouldn't be able to be completely present at the time with my daughters when they need it, when it counts the most. Because I used to be like, oh my God, I really wanted that. That could have helped me. I could have got a lot more thing. No, I'm glad it didn't happen. It didn't happen for a reason. And I truly believe it was meant for what I need to be doing now with them.
And
So
you're still
that,
surviving,
yep,
paying your bills,
yep,
got food, is
yep,
whether I know you have the means to provide for yourself, but maybe there's something else that's enabling you
yeah.
or empowering you to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to leave it up to you. When the right thing fits, it's going to fit. But right now he could be saying your daughters need you. It's not meant for you to be in this position right now.
It's the first religious thing that I think I've let go. Letting that go has helped me. Letting go of that anxiety or that, oh man, I didn't get that. Like, it'll all work out. I believe that, and I'm grateful for that now. But it took a good amount of time for me to let go of that. But once I did, I was like, thank God that I didn't get that because
It's a process.
they need me. And I'm so glad to be able to be here for them every day.
And it's little things like you mentioned. It's little things like what do you always say? It's all good. Because you know
Mm-hmm.
what? That positive affirmation you can use anywhere. Hey, I broke a dish. It's all good. At least I didn't cut
It'll
my
work
foot.
out. It'll
It'll all
work
work
out.
out. And if you keep telling yourself
Mm-hmm.
over and over, you condition yourself to then one day letting go. And it's not easy because we still struggle with it. It's not like, okay, Greg's free from anxiety or Greg's free from stress. He still deals with it, but
Yes.
it's like, okay, now I have the tools to fight these battles, just as the Bible could be the tool or stuff that you could use to fight the enemies. Hey, Greg, here's anxiety. I'm throwing a dart at you. Bing. Here's this. Here's bills. Here's interest. Here's childcare. Here's a car accident. Here's this, right? You're getting all these arrows thrown at you.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you don't have any protection, you're going to be like a pincushion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all good and things are going to work out. That's a way to protect yourself. And
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't protecting themselves. They're allowing the enemy to infiltrate them.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people just want titles. Oh, I'm the VP of this or the senior VP of no, I don't care about it. It doesn't matter. But once again, people are still into that. People care more about, oh, you have a 9 to 5 or you're an entrepreneur. Or you have no job. They just label people like, oh, they're a deadbeat.
It's all
Really?
about mm-hmm.
Because they might be the pillar of the family. And thank God for that. But no, they don't have a normal 9 to 5 or something like that, then they're a loser. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, if people only knew the real. But
And it
those
goes
that
back
know.
to those that know. And the Bible
Mhm.
talks about judgment. Like
Yeah. Like that's one thing, and I can say that I don't care about that.
no.
I don't care. You can judge me all you want. I know who I am as a person and as a father. It's all good. It's all good. You want me to? You're gonna label me something because I don't have this or I don't have that title? I don't care about that. How's that gonna help you? By the way, I'm just saying. You can have all the titles in the world and a great paying job. You're still a piece of shit, and people look at you like that, and they don't respect you. You're still a joke. Just saying.
Like I've never cared about a girl's past. It's all about what they do to me in the present. It never really bothered me because I have a past. We all have a
Mm-hmm.
past.
Mm-hmm.
So what if a girl had a promiscuous period? So what? Are you healthy? Are you clean? Are you what are you like
Are
now?
you
Because
honest with me? Just be honest. Are you honest with me?
right.
That's where I draw the line. Just be honest. I can find out if I want to. I don't want to pull those levers. Just be honest with me. That's all.
And Greg, like the Gospel of Luke says, if you're dishonest in little things, you're
Oh,
going to be dishonest in larger ones.
of course.
So
Of course.
again,
But then again, in this topic, when you ask questions, it's frowned upon. Maybe I'm just curious. I don't care, but I think it's just a conversation. I don't care.
and that's all we are conversation starters. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all we are. This is a conversation. This is my journey and your journey. And
Mm-hmm.
our listeners out there, if you want to share your journeys with us, DM us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it. We can share it on the air. DM us. If something that we said struck a nerve, DM us. If something we
Yeah.
said helped you, DM us. We want to be able to share the feedback because Empower Man is a community. It's a worldwide community of guys, women, men, kids, whatever you're going through, just know you're not
Mm-hmm.
in it alone.
Yeah. I got a couple people that messaged me about divorce. I'll talk
Maybe
about it one day.
next topic. Maybe down the road.
Yeah, definitely down the road. There's a lot to talk about in a good way. And because it's the same thing people bring up all the time that they're fearful of, the labels. The self-labeling is a big problem. So I'll talk about that one day because enough people now have like, hey, you should talk about this, or hey, can you talk about this? I'll structure it accordingly because that has to be it might be a two-parter. I don't know, but I'll go into detail about certain things to help people.
That could be a trilogy.
To help people because you can get caught up in yourself and you shouldn't.
No, and the sad thing is we know more people now in our mid 40s that are going through it,
Most. Yep.
which is wild. And the sanctity of marriage, I mean,
Unfortunately, it's not how it was when we were younger.
younger,
Yep.
so
Because it's all about optics, Mike. You got to
it's all
bring
about
those
optics.
optics into the marriage, right? How's that
And
working out for a lot of you? I'm just asking. Just asking. Awesome.
and yes, I did cry during the Notebook. Saying
Okay.
I
It's all
did.
good.
I lasted 10 minutes before I started my first year, and my girlfriend at the time said, "You're not gonna last." And I'm like, "Well, let's see what you got." And man, I was trying to fight it, and she just kept looking at me, and it was a really nice moment. But I also cried during Rocky too,
All good movies.
and I cried when Trump won.
Huh.
But Greggy T,
A
awesome episode.
little different.
It
A little different.
was nice. We covered a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And Greggy T, one last thing.
Mm.
Where people, if they want to reach out to you for advice on finance, advice on real estate, advice on love, you are the doctor of amore. Greggy
Oh.
T, where can men and women, ladies, drop them a line? But just remember, I read all the DMs, so we're gonna filter you out.
Yeah.
Greg, where can someone reach out to you?
Here at Empowerment Podcast on Instagram, which is cool, or forever progress on Instagram. That's the real estate part. But what I want to give a shout out to is Sunset 305 rum. It's the best rum you'll ever have. About 2 months away, June. Get ready. It'll be in Florida first. So there you go.
My birthday, perfect.
It'll perfect. We're bringing on the boat. It's all good. Sunset 305. It's an anise infused spiced rum. Gluten free, all natural, made here in the USA, in Miami. We didn't import shit because we don't believe in that. Veteran owned, everything. It's the full spectrum. Checks all the boxes, sir. It's coming out soon. Yep. And I'm trying to bring a deep end fitness to the Westchester Fairfield area. I trying to find an indoor pool to play games with, but a lot of pools are shut down. I'm having a hard time finding a pool. If you know of any pools, 4 lanes, that's all I need. Doesn't have to be super deep. I can work in 9 feet. I am desperately trying to get a deep end fitness up here because I met a few people that want it and I'm trying to bring it here. So if you don't know what deep end fitness is, go on Instagram and type in deep end fitness. They're in San Diego. There's some in Florida now. There's one in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I'm also trying to bring one up to like Jupiter area, West Palm. So it's pretty cool. It's like CrossFit in the water, super intense, very hard, but super fun. It's all about getting you comfortable in the water, which I think is important for anybody. So working on that. Hit me up if you have a pool.
Or if you want to see Greg in a Speedo.
No Speedos. Those days are over.
So before Michael Phelps, there was Greggy T.
Oh, yeah. Way before.
Way before Michael Phelps. If you thought Michael Phelps eating 8,000 calories was something special, I've seen Greg demolish a package of double stuffed Oreos on a Friday night.
In about 4 minutes.
Yep. 4 minutes after a 12-hour day at work.
That's right.
So, Greggy T, good stuff. Until next time, to all those that celebrate, happy Easter. Remember that this is Holy Week in the Christian faith. Happy Passover to our Jewish friends. This is a time to reflect, but also a time for new beginnings. So a lot of our discussion tonight was apropos, given it this week. Get your Cadbury mini eggs, because they're my favorite and the best Easter candy out there.
Happy Easter, everybody. Be safe and watch your backs out there. And thank you for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
America first.
That's literally first people to say it. All right. Later.